Hey there, internets. This is Kyle with another edition of the My Business Launch Secrets YouTube channel. We're here on day 110 days into this journey and starting a new online business, trying to get from $0 to $1 million within the course of a year in building a business around, online education. An expert business, I guess, as they say in the industry. Me providing my, based on my own experiences, my own expertise, bringing knowledge to the masses, and primarily doing that through a YouTube channel that's already up and running. It's an old channel that I'm just trying to kind of rebuild, but then kind of wrap around the right strategy to actually capitalize on the views that I'm getting on the channel, more so than just what I'm making off of Google AdSense revenue or whatever, because that's next to nothing. I did get a payment drop in my bank account recently, maybe last week, from that channel that I haven't updated in the past 7 years, I think. And my payment drop was $100. And you say, well, $100, that's not bad. Is that what you get like every week or every month? My answer is no. That's what I get about once a year, 12 to 14 months. So, it's fine. I don't hate money, so I'm not going to complain about any extra that comes my way, but just to say that it's not having really any real significant impact on my quality of life, right? So in today's journey, let's see, I was back at work today dealing with just some really fun BS in my day job. Again, yes, I do have a day job still, and thus doing this on a part-time basis, which is why things have been a little bit slower going, I guess you could say. But yeah, fun stuff going on in the day job, and just trying to keep my head down and focus on things that I have under my control and not worry about the dumb shit that goes on around me. Because what are you going to do about that, right? Suck it up and move on. Side note, as I was just speaking, I was listening to, or I guess as I was listening to my video that I recorded yesterday, because I do run all my videos, these videos, through a kind of automated editing tool called TIMEBOLT. I've talked about in the past. Link down below if you're interested in checking it out. But you just drop in a video and it kind of automatically goes through and makes all the cuts where you have, gaps in your video, and it can also pick up like when you say ums and ahs and, things like that, those filler words that aren't generally something you want to have remaining in your videos. And just as I was listening back, so I run it through that program, then I just listen back to it like 2x or 3x speed just to kind of be sure it didn't cut out things that it shouldn't have. Sometimes it, miscalculates and silences an area or cuts out an area that was actually you would need to understand the context of what I was saying, as well as it, sometimes doesn't catch all the ums and ahs. So I can go in there and just manually, very quickly, tell it those sections that I do want it to take out that maybe it did not catch initially. Anyway, as I was listening back to that, I was, realizing something that I think I have known about myself. I know my wife would tell me this is the case, is that I am not the most articulate just speaker, in terms of I do tend to, kind of muffle my voice and, I'm saying words, but it's not always very distinct in the words that I'm saying. And I know this is something I think Russell Brunson and probably others have talked about, and things I've been, listening to over the past year, of especially like in advertisements, which is not necessarily something I'm really going to be doing right now, but I think it applies nonetheless if you're making like YouTube content for a channel, is that it does help to be a bit more just articulate, and you need to be clear, because obviously if your channel is mainly built around, you talking about some content, then obviously people need to understand the words that you are saying. And so it's just something on me, whatever, the way I am, the way I speak is who I am. And I've had no reason up to this point to really figure out a better way to articulate my wording and things like this. At times, I have tried to spend a little bit of thought in terms of if I'm giving a presentation, which I haven't done, frankly, in a while. In my current job and in my previous job, I was doing fairly regularly. And it could have just been a presentation to a small group of people, maybe some bosses in the company. But there were times that I would, present at conferences. And so I would, be in a room full of, several hundred people or something like that. But mainly when I coming up with those presentations, the main thing I was really working on was going through in my head what I wanted to say, so that as I got up there, I was never one. And I think this is so dumb when people like literally script out every word they're going to say. Again, unless you're doing like some really super high level recorded executive briefing or something that you just really have to be sure you get every word exactly right, which I think those circumstances are few and far between. For the most part, my view is you should be off the cuff in terms of, again, not reading a script, but still following a logical train of thought based on, whatever the material is that you're presenting to your target audience. And also, understanding who your targeted audience is. So the words you're saying, how you are explaining whatever the material is again geared towards who is listening to what you're talking about. And so at times, again, when I was doing that more often, certainly I would spend some effort trying to work through that. I mean, even recording myself via video or even just audio of me talking through the presentation as I wanted to say it, which, also helps you from a pacing perspective, understanding, if you've got a 20-minute time block, being sure you're going to hit right in that 20-minute mark, as well as, I think it helps. I wouldn't say I'm great at this yet, but again, trying to limit at least the number of filler words that I use, which could be, so I don't think I use too, well, I do use it because I hear it in my videos, but I say things, kind of filler words I say is so, and, I'll throw in just a so if I'm having to think about my next train of thought, I'll throw in a so there, or it's this, we talk about this thing this way, and then whatever. So I certainly have my own set of filler words. So again, I'm not perfect in doing that, but that's, again, something I've tried to focus on and is always something I tend to think about whenever I'm giving a presentation. What I don't so much think about is just, again, the just how I'm physically speaking and being sure, each word is coming out as a separate word and is not just kind of rumbling together as just this common phrase. Again, my wife complains to me about this all the time, that she can't understand what I'm saying because I just tend to run all my words together and muffle, et cetera, et cetera. And I do that. And I mean, whatever, if I'm tired at the end of the day, then it is what it is. But obviously, again, if I'm going to be recording a bunch of material for a channel that's the core of this new business that I'm building, then I think it is something I need to pay more attention to. And I will try to be practicing here on these videos since I'm obviously doing these every day. And honestly, yeah, doing these videos have been very laid back. Again, I do these videos more to keep myself accountable and as well to just have some point of reference, maybe for me to go back and look at, years down the line after I've, been able to reach the levels of success that I'm after, being able to have these videos as, again, a point of reference for where I was and the struggles I was having early on. And again, if it's helpful for somebody else down the line, that's great. Just documenting my journey, which is not the same as your journey or anybody else's journey. We all approach these problems a little bit differently, and that's okay. But again, because of that fact, because again, I'm not really pushing this channel to, be a very popular channel, get a lot of views and subscribers and all that, I just haven't, spent a ton of effort in terms of how I put these things together. A lot of it's stream of thought, and that's fine. I'm not going to change that. It's not like I'm going to start, spending an hour every day thinking about what I'm going to talk to you guys about instead of spending an hour on my actual, freaking business that I'm trying to do. I'm not going to change it in that regards, but obviously something I can do is just practice my style of speaking to hopefully be something that is more clear, because that doesn't take me any more time, obviously, to do, but is a good, avenue for me to practice that. Honestly, I don't, my job that I have, I don't even do a lot of just talking in general, which kind of sounds weird, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I have meetings, but I mean, a lot of the meetings are just things I'm more so participating in. I'm not really leading, or if I am leading, it's usually just me, asking questions to get information from other people that are in the meeting. So again, I only have a few comments, and then it's just, me listening to other people that are speaking. And even though I work in an office with other people, I frankly just tend to not talk to other people very much. I mean, on occasion I do get into a somewhat lengthy discussion about this or that topic, things that are going on in the job, but again, I would say for the most part, that's not actually kind of, whatever. It's not the focus, I guess. So I noted that again last night in the video I was editing then, and, be working on that, trying to put a little more thought as I'm recording these videos every day to speak a little bit more clearly, be a bit more articulate in the words, still continue to work on not using a bunch of fill words. I think some guy that's probably come across the, Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever, who is, I guess, is a guy that does, training for people to, become better presenters. He has a little short clip saying how much he hates, using those fill words, and it hurts his soul to hear somebody use those in a presentation. And anyway, his point was just drop the fill words, and if you just need to pause, people use fill words because they need their brain to kind of catch up to what the next thought is that they want to come out of their mouth. So they'll just throw in it as they're thinking about the next phrase that they need to say. They'll throw that fill word in. He was like, just don't use the fill word. Just pause, come up with your next thought, and then spit it out. People don't have a problem listening to somebody who has, those pauses in their speech. That's much more like, I'm sure there's science behind, again, how people process. And I think people probably just comprehend things better if the only words that they're hearing are the thoughts that are trying to be conveyed to them. If they're hearing those thoughts mixed in with a bunch of, again, these filler words, it probably, breaks up the speech pattern in terms of how you're interpreting it. And again, I don't know what the science is, but I'm willing to bet there's probably some research that would back up the fact that if you just drop those words, you will have a much better time in terms of getting people to understand whatever the material is that you're trying to brief them on. So again, these are all things I know I need to work on myself, and I might as well just be using these videos to practice. Gives me a good practice every day to put those things into action. And that's the only way you kind of get better, I think, is you just have to, if you've developed the bad habits over, many years, decades of your life, then it's obviously going to take you a while to unwire those neural pathways that have already been formed in your brain and then rewire correct pathways in terms of how you should be speaking. That was just kind of an observation, something I can work on and I will work on. In other news with the business, I have been spending a little time this evening, again, still getting things off the ground in ClickFunnels 2.0, and we can switch over there to just take a look at what I have been working on. So at least, again, sort of filled out a little bit of a larger structure. I think yesterday or whenever that was, I just showed a very simple, no navigation menu up at the top, just email entry form box with the button that says sign me up, right? That's sort of what I was thinking I would do initially. Again, I just wanted to keep things very simplistic with the main goal of I just need to start collecting emails as a first step, right? But as I got to thinking a little bit more today, I just figured, it's not that much more work to add a few extra pages in here, and I can still keep the overall design and feel pretty straightforward, pretty easy to, not get for somebody not to get distracted on if they're first coming to my website, etc. So it can still serve that same purpose, but at least has a bit more of a structure behind it that I can at least add a few extra pages now, and then as I add more whatever content or functions later, I can just tie that into this existing overall framework. So here's the basic homepage. Again, still very simple. I played around with or at least thought for a minute about the idea of, should this show, what you're seeing here is more just the, opt-in, lead capture part of it. I was thinking, should there be another section underneath it that then maybe talks a little bit about myself? Should it highlight that I have this membership program? Various other things you could throw on a homepage. But I just decided, that's the complexity I just don't really want to get into right now. Let's just keep it clean. Somebody comes here, or they find me somehow, they see a big blue button, in the middle of the screen there. That's what I want them to click on. And if they click on that, they'll get the pop-up where there in the pop-up, they can give me their email address. I think the nice thing about the pop-up is you can set it so that if somebody's, about to click away, the pop-up will pop up, obviously. And, maybe at least give you some boost in terms of getting people to pay attention attention if they were not paying attention enough to see the big red or big blue button in this case of what they should be clicking on. But I do have, again, a bit of a navigation structure shown up here at the top, an about page, FAQ page, membership, which will be the funnel to get people into my membership program, and then a basic contact page. His footer's the same, again, trying to keep it very simple, just the basics, adding a privacy policy page, and a terms and condition page. And yeah, so all of those I have at least created. Let's see on my pages. So you see terms and conditions, privacy, contact page, FAQ, about, etc. I mean, there's not much in any of these. I just put the overall framework, this general design of, black main kind of background, and then like a center frame there, which is the content for each of those pages. So, the footer and the header will stay the same. You'll still have the black on the sides of the main part of your page there, and again, that center part is what will change when you're going to the different pages, whether it's FAQs, about, membership, etc. Well, aside from the membership one, the membership is actually its own funnel page, which I haven't really done anything except created it and used some generic ClickFunnels template. But so here is the kind of funnel view. You have initially the opt-in page here, and then that pushes them to an order form, sign up for the membership. So this is kind of the initial one is the sales page. That's all your copy and everything, why you should sign up for my membership. And then they say, yeah, I definitely want your membership. Boom, it moves them to the order page, and they fill out the order form, and then it's gravy. So that, I guess, in a nutshell is about where I'm at on that front. I just need to start kind of filling in the blanks of those various pages that I put together, but I think I'm pretty happy with the overall look and feel of it. Again, trying to just keep it very streamlined. I think I like this color scheme, the blue and the gold or yellow, whatever. A few shades of those colors is what I put into my design, the style guide, I guess it is. So that's what I'm leveraging, be consistent across the site. So I think at the end of the day, it'll be a pretty just clean looking website, which again is really all I want. I don't need a bunch of complexity. I don't have a ton of content to put on the website. The content's going to go to the YouTubes and the social media pages and all that sort of stuff. This is just, again, for any organic traffic, or again, people from all those social platforms to this site to get them to opt in, sure, and then, still have the opportunity to push them to the membership page where they could maybe go ahead and sign up there. I did pull up some of my old YouTube comments on, again, the channel that I'll be leveraging for this business. Pulled out some real gems here to include of people making just random interesting comments. I think what I want to do with, the copy, the text here throughout the website is, again, make it more so in my voice, like how I would describe myself, to a friend or whatever, which is, to me is going to inject a certain level of humor, relatively dry humor, a bit, I don't know what the right word is, a bit sarcastic, you could say. Yeah, something along those lines. So I think, once I get it put together, you'll probably see, or just by reading, you'll kind of better understand, and I think where I'm coming from. And again, that's just because I don't want to make just another generic website of everything's picture perfect. Hey, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm, professional, whatever, engineer dude, and I excel at these 3 things, and you should contact me if you want help in your own education. That's just so, it's just not me. And if this business it's really about me, at least right now. Again, I'm rebranding it as the PhD engineer as opposed to just using my name entirely. And that's intentional because, again, the vision here is to create something bigger than just, me providing tutorials or master classes or courses or whatever, right? But injecting my personality into the business is important because, again, I'm looking for people that connect with who I am and what my personality is. Those are the people that I want to come into my community, to come into my membership programs. If somebody is turned off by my witty humor, then cool, they can, somewhere else and get some other generic tutorial thing from somebody that speaks mostly broken English. That's fine. So I'm going to try to, be sure I'm doing that throughout. Again, I want to be consistent in the tone that people are seeing. Maybe at least I'll do that now. If I have to modify it because it's not connecting with the audience I really am trying to connect with or something. whatever. I'll figure that out in the process, but I think that's at least a good going in position. So that's the plan. All right, folks. Well, that's it for today. Hey, I'm finishing up before midnight here tonight, so that's good. Hope you're all doing well. Keep on kicking ass, taking names, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.